we all looked at that risk and we looked at how scary that is and we said, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to do that because it freaks me out and I've got that adrenaline in my system. Learn from them, take the best, leave the rest, then do it on your own. That's what I tell people.
These W words, like what's your win? Like what's the end game? You know, what's the end game? Like, why do you get up and fight every single day?
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 for my top 10, top 10, 9. This one's for my top 10.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So get ready to take risks, master sales, and choose success first with Ryan Serhant and my take on his top 10 rules of success to give you the confidence, motivation, and belief that you need. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule #1. Take risks.
I love salespeople because we are all so crazy. Like, we're so crazy that we woke up one day and we're like, you know what we want to do? We want to try to get people to give us their money for stuff they don't really need. That sounds like a great idea. That sounds like a great job. You know what? Like a consistent, honest salary with benefits where I'll go to school for it and come home with my white picket fence. Psh, that's for someone else. I want a job. I want a career where there is no ceiling, right? There's also no floor. Because if I don't sell real estate and if you don't sell cruises, then we got to figure out how we're going to pay our bills, right? But we all looked at that risk and we looked at how scary that is and we said, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to do that because it freaks me out and I've got that adrenaline in my system. And I know you're looking at me now and you're like, yeah, well, Ryan, you're on $1 Million Listing New York. You've been doing this forever. I haven't really. So it must be really easy for you. But I swear to you, the last thing I thought I was ever going to do in my life was be a salesperson.
Rule #2, choose success first.
And what's amazing about real estate is, you know, I didn't have to go to school for 3 years or 7 years. I didn't have to get a residency. You know, what I had to get was a real estate license, which cost a couple $100 and took 75 hours of my time in New York City to take the test and take the class. And then I was as licensed as I am today, 10 years later. And I could start advising people. And all you have to do is work incredibly hard. So there's a lot of different ways you can make money and survive if you really want to. There's lots of job opportunities. And anyone who says there isn't, just isn't looking in as many different places. And I meet a lot of people who are like, no, there's nothing for me. It's because you're stuck with your own ego thinking that you should only do one type of opportunity and you don't open yourself. Like I thought acting was my whole life, but then I went into real estate. I didn't view my failure as an actor as some egotistical brick wall that hit me in the face and then get angry at everybody. No, it was a speed bump in life because I chose success first.
Rule #3, master sales.
The biggest tip that I can give to anybody, and it's a question that gets asked to me all the time because people have a hard time with it. Like, how do I close? How do I close? How do I close? But if you think about it that way, then it's automatically going to be hard because you're thinking about it like something that happens at the end of a relationship or at the end of a transaction.
I like that.
So for me, what I tell everyone on my team, or what I try to tell everybody, is you close first, like at the beginning. Meaning you set expectations. So if you're a client, I'm going to meet you and I want to show you houses.
Yes.
I don't just skirt around the issue, kind of talk about things, go show you houses for 2 months, and then try to figure out how I'm going to talk to you about making offers and doing that, because you've now just set expectations this entire time for 2 months that you're just going to go see houses. And then of course it's going to be weird to try to quote unquote close.
Wait till the end.
Right, to wait to the end. So if you start the expectations early, right, which is the best part about sales compared to like dating, right? But in sales, you can start the expectation early. It's like, okay, I am the greatest real estate agent in the history of the world, right? I sell more than anybody else. This is how this process works, just so you're aware. eliminate a lot of options. Let's narrow down the 10 best options for you to buy now. We're gonna go see them over the next couple days, and then we're gonna figure out which 3 we like the most and which one we're gonna make offers on. Sound good? Nothing is final, nothing's forever. Like, that's the way this process works. And then you get to know them, you hang out. But at least the first thing you did was set up how the process works. So you're not really closing them, you're just following the process. And everybody is okay following a process.
Rule number 4, put yourself in uncomfortable positions.
The better you do, the, kind of, it's like the age-old saying, right? Like, the higher you go, the harder you fall.
Right.
So every day I need to do more. Like, I'm just fueled by more. I don't want to have a year that's less. Like, every year, if you sell more, you make more, your lifestyle changes. Like, sure. You have any idea what my bills are? I don't want to know. It's insane. So, like, I've got to uphold this, and that's a gun to my head at the same time. Like, it's not an unhealthy thing. Like, right. I think I'm one of those people, and I think a lot of people are the same, where, like, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations to push yourself to move forward. Like, if I hadn't had gone broke in 2008, I don't know if I'd be here right now. Like, if my parents had helped me, or if I had more money saved, like, would I really have become a real estate agent because I desperately needed to figure out how to pay my rent? Honestly, probably not.
Okay.
And even in like the last 10 years, like, the things that I've done and the situations I've put myself in the real estate business have pushed me to do even better because I've had to figure it out.
Also, if you want to have more confidence, self-love, and motivation, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
But no one does know initially, up front. You have to try. You have to swing at the plate.
When you're trying to get wealthy, you want to go all in and it not be a bet. You need to know the space so well that you're like, I know for sure this is going to work.
My ability to only be comfortable in massive chaos has been my biggest asset as an entrepreneur. Like, I would never take a note. Like, that scares the piss out of me what these 3 people are doing right now.
Rule number 5, don't accept failure.
So when you had absolutely nothing in terms of running out of money, what was it that made you want to persevere? Because, most people, when they're just down on their luck like that, sometimes crumble. So what made you persevere in a time like that?
The fear of failure, to be honest. I mean, I had no other option. What was I going to do? Move home with my parents? I'm not going to do that, because I knew if I moved home, I'd never leave again. And I see that all the time. I have friends from high school who still live with their parents, and they're in their 30s. And I just don't want to do that. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking anybody. Everyone has the right to do whatever they want with their entire life. I just knew that wasn't for me. I didn't want to live in my basement, right, and have my mom do my laundry until I was 40 years old. So I had to figure it out.
Rule number 6, build your network.
In 2008, I was 24, right? And I'm going to the street. I got khaki pants, a cowboy belt, cowboy boots, and a green collared shirt. Those were my nicest clothes. Our office was above Burger Heaven on 49th and Madison. So I go down to the corner. Everyone's walking around with the New York Times that says, die, end of the world, recession, everything's over. And I'm just walking around to people and I'm like, okay, what do I have to lose? Is someone gonna punch me in the face? Well, it's New York, so maybe. Like, what's really gonna happen? So I'd walk. I'd walk down 49th Street. I'd walk to Lexington and I'd find people and I'd say, hi, my name's Ryan Serhant. Would you like to buy, rent, or sell real estate with me? And they'd look at me just like you are right now. They'd stare at me with this kind of awkward smile where they're like, oh God, is he talking to me? What's going on? This is New York, please get out of my way. And then I'd go and talk to somebody else. And I gave myself a rule. No matter what, I was gonna meet 5 new strangers every single day. That's what I was gonna do, because I don't know anybody. I'm not from New York City. I'm 6'3" in New York that's relatively pretty tall. I'm not Jewish. New York is relatively pretty Jewish. So I got to build up my network.
Rule number 7, figure out your why.
I wrote about it in the book, right? I have a book called Like Serhant, which is a sales book that's done incredibly well. That where I try to teach people how to sell, but really how to figure out how to structure your day, right? Figure out what your why is, your wall. Like what's your wall? What's your back up against? And if it's not money, then what is it? Maybe it was because your last job was as a substitute teacher, and you can't for the life of you ever go back to that. Or maybe it's student debt. Maybe that's the wall that you have up against you, and you don't want to be paying student debt off for the next 20 years. You want to pay it down tomorrow, so you're going to fight for it, right? And also these W words, like what's your win? Like what's the end game? What's the end game? Like, why do you get up and fight every single day? Like, when is enough? When are you going to be happy? Like, these are the things I think about a lot. And I think that if you are able to figure them out and write them down and then adjust them every year as you go by, because your life changes, it'll help you have clarity in like the fight and the race you go on every single day.
Rule number 8, push yourself.
I came to New York City in 2006 with the idea that I was going to be an actor. And I wanted to do theater and maybe film and television. And I just ran out of money really quickly. And I didn't want to have a survival job. I didn't want to do anything kind of like that, because I knew if I got a survival job that I'd be stuck in it for the rest of my life, and I'd become comfortable. I'd end up figuring out how to pay my rent, and then I would never push myself. So I've always been somebody who has kind of put himself up against a wall, because I know that when I'm up against a wall, whether it's financial or personal or emotional, that I will absolutely fight back. And then I will be able to increase my lifestyle, increase my worth.
Rule number 9, keep learning.
I got to go find people that want to rent, buy, or sell real estate, and rent, buy, or sell real estate that I don't even know. Like, I wasn't educated on the market whatsoever. I didn't know anything about what I was doing. So I quickly tried to learn as much as I possibly could. And I figured my thing was going to be that I knew more than anybody else, because that's something that no one can take away from me, right? Everybody else can come from this family, come from this city, do this, have this connection, have that connection, but no one can take away the fact that I'm going to stay awake till midnight every night, and I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn about this building, this building, this building, this building, this building. I'm going to learn who lives there, who lives there, who lives here, who's moving. I want to know everything about the real estate business, and I'm going to soak it up. Because there's also this other threat, and it's called the internet. And so people don't really need me anymore, do they? Even in 2008. No, they can find apartments online. Why would they need me, this amazing real estate advisor? Right? So I learned as much as I possibly could. And then the next day I'd wake up and I'd go back to the streets.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is learn from experienced people.
You have to work with somebody else. You cannot do it by yourself. That was the biggest mistake that I made. That a lot of people think they can get into real estate, they got their license, boom, I'm gonna be the best broker ever. Work with someone who's been in the business forever, work for them for free, just listen to the conversation, listen to how they talk to people, look at how they write their emails, meet the brokers that they know, meet the clients that they know, learn from them, take the best, leave the rest, then do it on your own. That's what I tell people.
Now I've got a special bonus clip from Ryan on how to leverage your time that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1, what is your why? Number 2, where do you need to push yourself a little harder? And number 3, what's the uncomfortable position you can put yourself in this week? And if you made it this far in a video and you commit that you're gonna take action, we don't just watch videos here, we do something, give me a hashtag believe down in the comments below, because I want to celebrate you.
If you could look back at your career thus far, Ryan, and pick or choose 1 or 2 things, whatever you're willing to share, that took your business from one level to the next, what's that look like for you?
Learning to use people. Right.
In a good way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just leverage, right? How to leverage your time. Like it's tough because I'm in a service industry, right? So anyone who's listening, who feels like they're in the same way. So a real estate agents or, even builders, like people come to me for me. Like they want to hire Ryan Serhant. There are 80,000 real estate agents in New York City.
Wow.
Like, yes, I do a lot of business. Yes, we're at the top of the rankings, but at the same time, like not everybody wants to hire the guy that's super busy and running around all day long.
Sure.
They want somebody who's going to bleed for them. And so there is a lot of competition in the city. So I had to figure out really kind of how to give up control and leverage myself. And that's where things really changed for me, was kind of, releasing that kind of micromanager control that I like to have over everything, and bringing on a team and really scaling as much as I can, and only focusing all day on only the things I can do. Like, I think that's really, really important. I don't do anything during the day that someone else is physically capable of doing.
If you want to see the top 10 I did on Grant Cardone, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
If you don't have your thing, whatever it is, the job, the money, the girl, your goals, your dreams, you gotta leave where you are.